Hello and welcome. You're tuned into Buy Now, Sell Now on ET Now. I'm Shrishti Sharma and with me as always is Cheryl D'Souza. And viewers, this is the show where you get answers for all your stock-related queries. But before that, before we start taking your queries, let's have a quick look what the markets are up to. So Cheryl, the global handover was quite strong, but what I say that there's a lot of sector stock churning since the start of the day.
Absolutely. A very good morning to you, Shrishti. Yes, we've had a strong week coming in for the global markets. Last week was a very strong one coming for the US markets. No doubt, on Friday we saw a very mixed close, a flattish close coming in, but Dow managed to hit a fresh record high level in the trading session on Friday. Today we've hit a fresh record high level as well. When you talk about the benchmark indices, Sensex, Nifty, both of them surpassed or scaled new highs, with the Nifty actually surpassing 25,900 mark as well on an intraday basis. Talking about the markets right now, yes, we are around those, we are holding on to some of the gains, but but Nifty Bank is moving in tandem with the benchmark indices as we speak. The advanced decline ratio is tilted in the favor of the gainers so far. But let's take a look at list of gainers at this point in time. You have ONGC, BPCL, SBI among the top three gainers on the Nifty, while on the flip side, on the losing end of the markets, it is Eicher Motors, HCL Tech, ICICI Bank as well as Wipro that's under pressure. So notably, if you look at the Nifty loser screen, it is the IT counters that are weak, and that's exactly what's reflecting when you talk about the sectoral indices. The top sectoral loser at this point in time is the IT sector, down about 0.6% or as we speak. In fact, it's at the day's lowest point right now. But talking about the list of gainers in sectoral front, you have the Nifty PSU Banking Index as the top sectoral gainer. You have the Realty Index holding on to good gains, as well as if you look at what the auto sector is doing, healthy gains coming in for auto sector as well. So barring IT, all rest of the other sectors are in the positive territory at this point in time, Shrishti.
All right, that's how the markets are looking like right now. So a good start of the week rather coming in for the benchmark indices. But with this, viewers, let's move on and let's start taking all your stock related queries onto the show. And let me tell you that it's a simple process how you can connect with us. There's a WhatsApp number that will be flashing all throughout the show on the top of a screen, on your screens as well. Right now you can see, you can write to us on a WhatsApp number. Tell us your name, your stock that you have invested in or you wish to invest in, and the buy price for that particular counter, and also the time horizon you wish to stay invested in that particular counter. You can also write to us on our social media pages, that is X as well as Facebook pages of ET Now, and we'll try to take as many queries as possible. But with this, let me also welcome two of our special guests for today. Kunal Bothra is joining us on the technical front, and we have Gaurang Shah, who will guide us fundamentally. So let's get started. A very good morning, gentlemen. The first query that I have is coming in from a viewer named Deepak, and he wants an advice on Tata Motors. Kunal, if you can advise Deepak, he already have 200 shares. He didn't share his buy price, but he wants to add more at this price. Do you believe that it will be a good buy even at this particular price?
Good morning. So, I think yes, you can look to buy the stock or average some quantity at current levels, but I'm not sure whether this could be the exact bottom for the stock, because what has happened is in the last 4-5 days, the fall is getting arrested. But when you look at the other peers, the likes of M&M and other peers from the auto sector, not exactly the peers, but likes of Escorts, etc., I think these stocks are making a very strong comeback from their deep corrective phases. And Tata Motors is lagging behind by a good margin. So both in terms of the opportunity where the stock could have moved up higher, as well as in terms of timing. That means that maybe there could be a residual correction which could happen to the stock over the very near term. So you can look at buying into 2 phases or maybe at max 3 phases. You can start buying the first phase at current levels, and in case if the stock dips further, breaks below the 200-day moving average, say comes closer to 920, 925 mark, look to add the other 2 chunks.
All right, very good morning to you, Kunal. Good morning to you as well, Gaurang. And let me take this next query. Gaurang, this one is for you. Coming from Hemant, he's writing to us from Hyderabad. There are 2 stocks that he wants to know about. One is Marksans Pharma. He's holding on to the stock sub 100 rupees per share level. Wants to know whether he should look to book profits now or continue to hold on to Marksans Pharma for the longer term. And the other one is on PB Fintech, holding from 800 rupees per share levels. The long-term story intact is what he's asking. Actually, he's making good profits in both of these counters. In fact, surprisingly, he's making good profits in PB Fintech as well.
Well, thank you, Cheryl. Morning to you and to everyone on the panel. So the sense over here on PB Fintech, first of all, well, you know it's been a tough ride, and we've seen the stock recover from the lows very recently. And over the last 3 to 6 months, it has shown tremendous amount of strength. So from a long-term point of view, we have a hold on PB Fintech. I think it's one of those companies which have done well in the uh, online business as far as insurance is concerned, and it has almost all the products under its gamut. Oh, and of course, the run rate in terms of earnings is likely to go through this kind of footfalls that we are witnessing. So, from a long-term point of view, continue to hold on PB Fintech. The second one that you spoke about, the pharma stock, we don't have a specific coverage on Marks and Pharma, but we are extremely positive about the sector, and we believe that there is tremendous amount of growth opportunities over here. But if you're looking at some mid-cap pharma names, then I think names like Aurobindo Pharma or a Natco Pharma or a Zydus Wellness or a Zydus Life would be a better option. On Marksons, we don't have a coverage, but it is also one of the companies which have been performing.
Moving on to the next counter, the other query is on BSE and Kunal. Kusuma from Pune wants to know, can she go ahead and buy stocks like BSE, even Trent or Oil India? Amongst these three, any stock that you like at this price point for the next 1 month?
See, I think it's a bit of a steep task over here because stocks like Trent and BSE, these stocks have run exceptionally high in the last few weeks, and now buying the stock at current levels, irrespective that the momentum is very strong, could be a bit tricky because if there is a price correction into the stock, it may not be a meager correction into the stock. It could probably result into at least a 20% correction in a very short span of time. So the risk reward is off. And when the risk reward is off, the only set off which you can do is to try and drop your position size over here, so that in case if the stock gets into a correction, then you may probably get better opportunity on the downside to try and buy it further. So my sense is that if you're looking to buy both of these names, BSE as well as Trent, I think you should not use your ideal position sizing, but drop it down to maybe 1/3 of your expected quantity which you're looking to buy on a normal case.
All right, this next one is coming in from our viewer, doesn't have the name. 50 shares of M&M purchased at levels of 1,456 rupees per share. Long-term investor wants to know whether to hold on to this one or look to book profits. Gaurang, talk about M&M, one of the most formidable players when you talk about the four-wheeler market in India at least. What's your take? Does it make sense to actually book out profits or stay put with this particular holding, because the levels that he has actually accumulated the stock is pretty attractive?
Two thoughts over here. One is whether you are in need of money. The question is that. Well, if you are in need of money, then you should not, basically have a second thought. But if you are not in need of money and if you have time by your side, then I think this is a great stock in terms of four-wheeler, commercial vehicle as well as tractor and agri equipments. They have also done well in terms of EVs. They have signed a joint venture sometime back, and possibly by the end of year or early next year, you will see new products hitting the market. And they're doing quite well in terms of the products that they have to offer in different segments. So if you're not in that, stay invested, and more importantly, you bought it at a level which is very, very comfortable. And when you get invested in such strong stocks at a very decent level, then I should think my advice would be that ride the upside unless and until you are in need of money.
All right, that's the take coming in on M&M. But Gaurang, once again coming to you, this query is coming in from Arunachalam Balaji from Tamil Nadu. He has 400 shares of SCI. His buy price is 381 rupees, very close to the recent high of this particular stock. Gaurang, he is indeed at a loss in this one. What to do? What's your advice coming in on SCI?
Srishti, unfortunately, I won't be able to give specific comments over here since we don't have a coverage, but it's very prudent that in a market like this, when, most of the sectorial and, broader markets index are firing away, you need to recalculate or re-strategize your investment themes. And just in case if you think your investment is not gone in the right way, or you possibly have ended up taking a wrong decision in terms of stock picking, then you should take appropriate steps immediately, because remedial action is also very, very important when you invest into stock market. So no specific on SCI since we don't have a coverage, but if I have to give an alternative investment idea, then I would say Ashok Leyland, which is a pure commercial vehicle play in the auto pack. We were discussing auto just a while back, and maybe power generation, something like a Tata Power. These two could turn out to be better investment ideas.
Right. But Kunal, specifically on SCI, if you can guide Mr. Balaji on this.
So I think it's an attractive chart. The stock seems to have completed a phase of correction in the last, I think, 3 months or so. The stock had corrected from 380 to, I think, a low of almost 230 to 40, which means a decent correction of 140 rupees for the stock. Almost 35% correction the stock has already gone through. So I think at current levels it looks attractive. Time factor could be an important play over here, because when such sharp corrections happen, the stock for the next 1 or 2 months remains into a consolidative range, but then the stock picks up pace and then gathers momentum to try and come back into a very strong uptrend. So I think if you're okay holding on to the stock for the next 3 months or so, it's a good price where you can look to start buying.
All right, so that's a take coming in on SCI. On that note, we slip into a break on this edition of Buy Now Sell Now. When we come back, we will take more of a stock related query. Viewers, don't go anywhere. Welcome back. You're watching Buy Now Sell Now on ET Now show, where we get you answers for all of the stock related queries. Remember, you can connect to us on the WhatsApp number that will be flashing on your screen. We have our experts with us today, Kunal, Bothra, as well as Gaurang, Shah. Let's continue taking all of the stock related queries then. And this next query that I have is coming in from a viewer, that's Pratiksha, who's writing to us from Oman. And she wants to invest in the automobile industry for a period of about 1 to 3 years. She wants to know a good name in the two-wheeler space as well as in the four-wheeler space with a good buy price to go ahead and invest in this one. Kunal, let me come to you. Among the auto pack, between the two-wheeler majors and the four-wheeler majors, which one would you choose or advise Pratiksha to go ahead and invest right now?
So I think from the four-wheeler pack, I would look at M&M at current levels of 3,000 also looks attractive. The stock has done reasonably well. So purely in terms of the statistical price performance, it looks like the stock is getting into the second leg of a bigger trending breakout about the 3,000 plus mark. So that's a chart which I would recommend to buy even at current levels. And I would probably believe that from the two-wheeler pack, the likes of Hero MotoCorp could make a very strong comeback. The stock has shown those initial signs. Bajaj Auto, of course, has been one of the strongest names. The stock has done exceptionally in the last 6 months or so. But I think Hero MotoCorp is trying to play a catch up. So that's a chart which you can look at currently as a buy if you're not holding Bajaj Auto.
All right, moving on to the next query. And Kunal, once again coming to you. This query is coming from Rohan from Mumbai, holding 400 shares of TCS. Buy price is 3,400 rupees. How is the technical setup looking like for this counter? Is that a hold or sell?
See, if it's a short-term trade, then I would probably suggest that the stock has hit some sort of a hurdle or resistance at this 4,600 mark. But I think if it's a longer-term kind of a query, if you're looking at extending your time frame from a short-term to say 6 months, 1 year plus, then I believe stocks like TCS should make a very strong comeback. So it depends on the time frame. Short-term, then I think maybe keeping a stop loss of say 40 to 50 odd could be a decent play at current levels. But if not, then I think I would recommend a hold.
Right, Kunal, we just spoke about the auto pack. Basically, you spoke about the two-wheeler majors and also M&M. Bajaj Auto, Yuvraj wants to know, start accumulating on dips?
Yeah, I think it's a good. As I said, that if traders, if investors they don't have Bajaj Auto, then probably Hero MotoCorp could be a better time stock. But I think Bajaj Auto, of course, is a strong quality name, has done pretty well. So I think even at current levels of 12,000, you can start buying this, but you have to buy it on dips.
All right, the next query that I have, Gaurang, is coming in from Sunny, and he wants an advice on Natco Pharma. What's your view coming in on this particular stock, Gaurang? Do you like the fundamentals of the company, and would you recommend a buy for a long term in this counter?
Would definitely recommend that, Shrishti. And I think during Markson's Pharma query, I mentioned about Natco Pharma as an investment idea amongst the mid-cap pharma names. And the entire pharma phase, if you actually go to see the mid-cap companies, Shrishti, they have been doing extremely well. be it likes of Natco Pharma, be it Gland Pharma, be it Zydus Life, Zydus Wellness. So we have targets closer to 1600 on the fundamental side as far as Natco Pharma is concerned.
All right. This next one that I have is coming in for you, Kunal, from Partha, who's a senior citizen writing to us from Kolkata. Wants to know whether they can go ahead and buy JSW Energy, Amara Raja at these levels for the long term.
Yeah, I think both the charts I'm very bullish on. Amara Raja is something which I have been highlighting, I think, since the sub 1000 mark. The stock is, had done pretty well for itself. I think at one point of time, the stock was up more than 50% to 70%. So continue to be bullish on Amara Raja batteries from a long-term play. I think even this phase of correction, the stock at current levels looks fairly attractive, both in terms of risk reward as well as in terms of the potential upside. GSW Energy, again a phenomenal chart, a stock which has done exceptionally well, already gone 10x from the last I think 3-4 years, swing lows closer to 65 plus mark. But I believe that at current levels also the stock looks attractive, so you can continue to hold on to it from a long-term play.
All right, Gaurang, the next query is from Subrata Mukherjee. He wants to buy Jindal Steel or Tata Steel for a medium to long term. Are you bullish on these names, and would you recommend a buy even at current levels?
Well, the metals universe is going to do well purely because of uh, the theme in terms of infrastructure growth. Whether it is Bharat Nirman or taking the existing infrastructure to the next modernized level, whether it is respect to do with improvement in real estate sector that we are witnessing, or the much awaited capex by private companies. So remain extremely positive on Jindal Steel, JSW Steel, Hindalco, Vedanta, Tata Steel, NMDC, purely on a fundamental. But only one thing is, Srishti, that you 1.5 2 year plus kind of time horizon, because on and off the metal sector does have a little bit of speed break or a bumpy ride with respect to the news flows from China. Otherwise, I think the numbers are pretty good and they are likely to improve in terms of earnings visibility.
All right. This next one is coming for you once again, actually, Gaurang. This one is from Reema, who's writing to us from Pune. And she wants to know about Bharat Electronics. She has about 430 shares at an average price of around 146 rupees per share. She wants to know what should she do with this one in the longer term?
Stay put, Cheryl, is that what I would advise? It's one of the great plays in terms of defense, communication, modernized equipments, modernized warfare in terms of strategic radar systems being placed surface to surface, surface to air, air to surface, caters to across the armed forces, whether it is Army, Navy, Air Force, Coast Guard, or Border Security Force. Very strong order book, and equally is the capability and capacity to execute that order book. So our approximate targets, estimated targets are somewhere close to about 375 to 380, purely on the order book and the earnings which are likely to come through. So stay invested, and if somebody wants to invest it from a long-term point of view, I would recommend that as well.
Advice to stay put coming in on BEL. But Kunal, the next query that I have is from Neha from Bangalore, and she's having 25% profit in Bharti Hexacom. What's the short to medium term view, maybe for the next 1 to 3 months in Bharti Hexacom? Stay put, and any levels to watch out for. And Kunal, she also has one more query on Wipro. There she's having 15% profit. So what's your advice?
So both the stocks I would advise to hold on. Bharti Hexacom I think has done reasonably well over the last few weeks as well, and I think at current levels of 1500 plus, the stock looks fairly attractive. 1460 thereabouts, the stock looks fairly attractive. So you can continue to hold on to the stock, from a medium term kind of a time frame. Wipro also, and I think the best part about the charts for Wipro is that the stock has been an underperformer from the IT pack. But then there comes a phase where the stock plays a very strong catch up, and if that phase plays out for Wipro, say over the next 6 months to 1 year, I would probably expect the stock to rally up by a potential at least 20% plus before it tries to just about play a catch up and if possible even outperform many of the other peers. So I think there could be a significant upside for the stock in the next 6 months to 1 year.
All right. This next query that I have is actually coming in from Naitik, who's writing to us from Kanpur. Wants to know about NTPC. Should he go ahead and buy right now, or wait for some corrections to creep in? Also, he already has Bajaj Housing Finance at a price of around 156 rupees per share. He's holding over 50 shares. What should he do? What's your take, Gaurang? Firstly, on NTPC, do you think it's an attractive price to go ahead and buy this one, given the fact that it is in news? You have the arm also trying to unlock value via the IPO, as well as Bajaj Housing, where our viewer has already purchased 50 shares at a price of 156. Does it make sense for him to add some more?
First of all, prudent to give a disclosure, Cheryl. We have a coverage on the positive side on NTPC. It's one of the largest power generating companies, government owned, based at various locations in terms of power generation capabilities and capacities. New power generation capacities are going to be added in the next 3 to 5 years. So companies who are into power generation will tend to benefit. The all green power generating subsidiary, which is likely to hit the street, will augur extremely well in terms of growth visibility and the earnings capacity for the company. I would say that if you are invested, hold on to it. If you're not invested, look at opportunities to add to the stock. Whether the price point is right or not, I am not capable, Cheryl. Possibly, you can take it to the technical expert, Kunal, over here. But we have positive coverage on Bajaj Finance. Well, a great valuation in terms of 70 rupees floor that was there, and the shares were issued. The company's commentary in terms of growth is the run rate of 12 to 15% per annum, and it comes from a great pedigree as far as the Bajaj Group is concerned. And there is a lot of opportunity for strong players to coexist in a very competitive environment.
All right, so that's the take coming in on NTPC as well as Bajaj Housing Finance. But with this, it's time to slip into a very short break, viewers. Don't go anywhere. We come right back, and we will be taking more of your stock-related queries. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Buy Now, Sell Now, and let's keep it going with all your stock-related queries then. And Kunal, I'm coming to you for the next query, which one is on Oil India. Kamal from Pune wants to know, is this a good buy for the next 2 to 3 months, and any good levels to actually go ahead and initiate the buy price, also the targets to look out for?
Well, wait out for some correction further for the stock. I think it's still looks like that the stock has not completed a corrective phase. There was a sharp selling which had happened for Oil India. When the volumes had shot up significantly high, when the stock was, I think, at 760, 65 odd mark, the stock has come back to that 580 levels, but the volumes have not risen up for the stock, and I think that could be one of the reasons why the stock is just about going through a drag as well as a corrective phase over the last few weeks. So maybe furthermore downside could be expected into the stock over the near term. Possibility of the stock coming back towards 520, 525 mark, that could be a much better level where you can look to buy the stock.
All right. This next query that I have actually is coming in from our viewer Ron from Mumbai. He wants to know about a fundamental as well as technical opinion on a shift from GAIL to Coal India. He wants to know for the long term whether this switch makes sense. Actually, I'm not sure. For sure, he's actually purchased into GAIL. The fact that he's asking for that switch, but he's not mentioned the buy price. Gaurang, firstly, your take. Do you think it's an advisable move from GAIL India to Coal India? Both of them PSU counters. No doubt both of them are in somewhat similar sector, commodity linked.
Yes, but one is into gas and the other one is into the mining of coal. Now, this is a very tricky one for me to answer, Cheryl, because we have coverage on both GAIL as well as Coal India. So I can't give a straight out switch over here. It's going to be very difficult. I would say that growth prospects are equally good. And more importantly, I think under the NELP policy, which is the exploration policy, there are a lot of efforts being made by the government to reduce our dependency in terms of import of crude oil and natural gas. And for that, there are a lot of exploration activity which are ongoing, whether it is with respect to the on-field, offshore or ultra-deep water natural resources. But I mean, both are great companies. I would leave it to Kunal, honestly, to make a decision.
Ball is in your court. What's your take then? What should Ron do? Make that switch from GAIL to Coal India?
Well, if I look at the statistical part of it, and thanks Gaurang for tossing the difficult one. But I would probably believe that yes, making that switch from GAIL to Coal India could be a good strategy, because there's a difference of price trend, the difference of beta for stocks, as well as coherence of the stock with respect to the market trends. Coal India has had a much more higher correlation, enjoys a higher correlation with respect to the benchmark indices as well as the PSU sector as such. And GAIL has a much more lower, kind of a statistical part in both of these, statistical aspects. So I would probably believe that Coal India could be a better bet at current levels. And looking at the longer term charts as well, Coal India has been a historically a low beta name. So that also adds to the positivity for the stock with respect to GAIL.
All right, moving on, and Gaurang, the next query that I have is on SAMIL, that is Samvadna Motherson, wherein Lakshmi has bought these shares 100 in quantity at a price of 204 rupees. She wants a validation on this from you, Gaurang. How do you look at this particular stock, and can she go ahead and add more even at these levels?
So, this is one stock, Shrishti, which was in news flow about 10 days or maybe about 2 weeks back. And then I think there were some announcement in terms of the business strategy going forward from here on. It's one of the best suited plays in terms of domestic and international business sourcing in terms of auto ancillary components. We have a positive coverage on Samvardhan Motherson from a long-term point of view. Now, whether to buy it at current levels, I think she's already got investors already got the investment. So and the stock has rallied over the last week or 10 days. So I think at lower levels it will make sense to add to the stock from a long-term point of view. But currently hold on whatever investment you.
Right. This next one that is coming in actually for you once again, Gaurang, because we have Vivek who's written to us, wants to know about LT Foods. Buy price is 210 rupees per share. He wants to know what's the outlook for the next 1 to 2 years. I cannot ask you target because you won't be able to give me a target price for it. So what's your outlook when you talk about growth, the earnings for LT Foods?
No, we do have a target schedule, but
Oh,
this is
you do?
overshot. But we are maintaining a buy on the stock because it is a great play in terms of packaged foods and agri commodities. Uh, Earnings have been quite strong. We are very soon, Cheryl, we'll see a curtain raiser for the second quarter from next month, 10th October onwards. So currently the stock, we do maintain a buy call, but it has overshot our target price. But we are extremely positive on the growth prospects as far as earnings are concerned. So maybe you hold on to it, hold on to it. My targets would get revised if the earnings convince us to do that.
The next query that I have, Kunal, is on Lupin, wherein Venkat is already holding shares from a price of 2,100 rupees. Can he go ahead and add more of Lupin, or rather go ahead and make a purchase in Piramal Enterprise or CEAT at current levels?
See, I think if you're shifting towards either of the two stocks, PEL or CEAT, then I believe that there could be a chance that you are looking at shifting not just the sectors but the beta of the stock prices, because Lupin erstwhile has been a very solid stock, extremely low beta, and comes from the defensive pack, that's pharma. As compared to the other two names, tire stocks, we know that are more prone towards the the movement in the rubber prices, as well as what happens to Piramal Enterprise, that the stock is a very high beta stock. It could probably swing 10% to 20% in a very short span of time. So it's not just a shift of sectors, it's a shift of beta as well as the risk tolerance from your end. I'm sure you must have gone through these aspects before you decide to make that switch. If you ask me, both these charts are looking attractive, PEL as well as CEAT. So you can make that switch, but as I said, you'll have to look at your entire portfolio construct in terms of risk tolerance as well.
All right. This next query that is coming to you, Kunal, once again, because we have Tina who's written to us and wants to know about shipbuilder companies. Which one do you think looks attractive right now for an investor for a period of about 2 years or so?
See, I think GRC, of course, is one of the stronger names over here, which is coming back into the radar. The stock, in fact, over the last 3 months or so has corrected from, I think, 2800 levels to a recent low, which was around the 1670 odd mark, which means a correction of almost 1200 points. And that's a decent 40% odd correction for a stock like, GRC. I think, if I'm not wrong, same is the corrective intensity with the other peers for the stock. So difficult to choose just one of them, but looking at the chart prospects and the longer term possibilities that the stock can throw up, I would probably believe GRSE could be a better bet.
All right. The next query that I have is coming in from Ron. And Gaurang, if you can help Ron on his investment in GAIL. He didn't share his buy price, but wants to know from GAIL, can he go ahead and make a switch to Coal India rather?
Srishti, I think we've taken this question, and I think my good friend Kunal has already answered that. I am not in a position because we have buy on both.
Apologies. I remember that you both have shared your views on this one. But let me take the next query from you, Gaurang. This one is from Chaitanya, and he has bought shares of Edelweiss Financials at a price of 69 rupees. Any view on this one? Is that a hold or sell?
Srishti, I wouldn't be able to answer this. We don't have coverage on Edelweiss.
All right. Kunal, your take on this one?
So I'm very bullish on the stock. In fact, I've been very bullish on the stock since the stock managed to break past about the 70-75 mark. That was quite some time back. I think the stock has now almost doubled from those levels. But the momentum is very, very strong. We've seen very strong influx of volumes at in the charts of Edelweiss, and that's one of the major reasons why the stock has just gone through a very strong momentum breakout. So I continue to have a bullish stance in the stock. You can buy at current levels, wait out for maybe further dips if it happens into the stock to average out further.
All right, this one is coming in from Lakshmanan. He's a senior citizen and he wants to know about RailTel. He's already purchased about 504 the buy price. What should he do actually with the RailTel at this point in time, Gaurang? Because RailTel with the rest of the other counters also have seen a mild dip from those levels that actually our viewer has bought. What should he do right now? Look to exit or start accumulating instead?
So, Cheryl, let me put a perspective on the entire railway sector, Indian Railways, that is. Now, whether you are invested in maybe a sound, strong, fundamental government-owned railway company, or whether you are participating in the railway sector with the kind of growth by investing into a private company, the kind of changes which are going on for the Indian Railways is not going to disappear in the next 3-6 months, 1 year. It's going to be there for the next 3 to 5 years or maybe more. Be it the resolution of last mile connectivity, be it upgradation of railway stations, upgrading of trains, upgradation of tracks, introduction of more Vande Bharat trains, or a very soon to launch the Ahmedabad Mumbai bullet train. So these are very strong companies in terms of the contribution that they do to the Indian Railways. And my sense is, and along with that, even defense, I think you were discussing Garden Reach Shipbuilders a while back. Even defense is equally like Indian Railways. Defense is the next 3-5 years growth story. Not to forget, all these stocks have rallied in the last 6 months, 1 year, 1.5 years to the extent of 100-200% or maybe more. So when you see that kind of rally, corrections are going to be there in these stocks. But those corrections does not mean that the fundamentals have gone haywire. Fundamentals are still intact. And I think you should definitely look at these two sectors from a long-term point of view.
That's the take on Garden Reach. But moving on, and Kunal, the next query is coming from Sunny from Goa. He wants your view on Barbecue Nations for the next 6 months. He's already holding 200 shares. Buy price is 630 rupees and feels like he also tracks technicals very closely. Wants your confirmation that do you also see a golden crossover on the daily charts?
Sunny, you could be in for a positive surprise. The stock looks very attractive, and after almost 2 years of the stock going down from 1800 levels, for the first time on the monthly charts, the stock is on the verge of breaking a parabolic SAR resistance since you track technicals. And my belief is that if this breakout sustains for the stock, then we could be looking at a very strong trend shaping up for Barbecue Nation. So the stock has corrected from 1,800 levels to, I think the recent low for the stock was around 460 mark, which means major part of the correction seems to be behind. The stock is awaiting a confirmation of that parabolic SAR resistance, which should happen if the stock crosses levels of, I think, 690-95 mark for itself. So I would suggest to just wait out for maybe one leg of confirmation, which could happen about the 690 levels. But if that happens, then I would believe that the stock should be good for a very decent medium to long term uptrend.
All right, this one's come from Balaji, who's writing to us from Madurai. Wants to know about Lemon Tree or Indian Hotels. Which one to buy at current levels, Kunal?
I think difficult one because Lemon Tree is the one which is emerging as a breakout. Indian Hotel has done exceptionally well. The risk reward is a bit skewed. I would probably believe that maybe going with the leader could be a better strategy, but a buy on dip strategy is what I'd advise for Indian Hotels.
All right, that's the take coming in on Indian Hotels. But with this, it's once again time to slip into a very short break. Viewers, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Welcome back. You're watching Buy Now, Sell Now on ET Now. Let's continue taking all of the stock-related queries then. And this next query that I have is coming from a viewer that is Venkat Ramani, who's writing to us from Bangalore and wants to know whether it's a good time to enter Nykaa since the festival season is approaching. The holding period is about 12 to 18 months. What's your take on this, Gaurang? Does it make sense to go ahead and buy Nykaa right now with the hope of a good festive season?
So I think, Cheryl, festive season, normally e-commerce tends to do well, and we have an extended festive season. And even otherwise, I think these guys, e-commerce guys, have been clocking quite well. The only issue was with respect to the FNS e-commerce, that is Nyka's IPO valuation listing, and then we know the history. Don't want to go into that because that was a painful one. But as an investment idea, well, from a long-term point of view, I would say that if you, not from a festive point of view, not for the next 3-6 months, but from a long-term point of view, and long-term by definition is 12 months, 16 months, 18 months plus. If you have that kind of a view, I would say that, yeah, you can possibly start at current levels, maybe some amount, and if you get dips, you can add to it. So a disciplined approach would be a better way to invest in FNS e-commerce Nykaa.
All right, then moving on to the next query. Kunal, this query is from Tushar from Delhi. He wants a short-term view on Phenolics cables. Would you recommend a buy at this price?
Yeah, I think at levels of 1450, the stock looks to be getting back into a bounce back mode. Volumes today also quite decent for the stock, and I think it's come back into a bounce back after quite some time from 1700 as a top towards 1350, 1380 as a support. It looks like the first day where you're seeing the stock, looking quite attractive. So you can consider a short-term trade over here.
All right, so that's the take coming in on Phenolics cables. With that, we come to the end of this edition of Buy Now, Sell Now. Thank you so much, Gaurang, as well as Kunal, for joining us on the show and resolving all of our stock-related query. It's a good buy also from Shrishti, myself, and the team that put the show together, viewers. But before we wind up on this edition of Buy Now, Sell Now, you have Prime Minister Modi, who's kicked off the Day 3 visit to the United States with a high-profile roundtable meet with the tech CEOs, which included prominent names like Google CEO Sundar Pichai. We had Adobe CEO as well, and also IBM CEO who joined the round table. Let's hear out some of the commentary coming in post that meeting with Prime Minister.
He has always challenged all of us to do more for India, and now he is asking us to do the same with AI. He has a clear vision, both in terms of the opportunity that AI will create, but he wants to make sure ultimately AI is there to benefit the people of India. And he has a clear vision that it should all be in the service of people of India. He's challenging us to do more.
Artificial intelligence is also a new industry, a new manufacturing industry that's very important. And so I'm looking forward to partnering with India in a very deep way to make that possible. We have many partnerships with India. For one, we're helping India gain access to our most advanced technologies. We're partnering with internet companies like Yoda and end-to-end networks and to create the latest generation AI supercomputers in India for all of the startups. Just the number of partnerships we have all over India. Every IIT has a NVIDIA AI Center of Excellence. We're teaching professionals, we're teaching students how to upskill into this new world of AI.
If you like this video, then like, share and subscribe to ET Now.